radio personality Thibaut Touch has been leading a data must fall movement. I think that started in 2016, also telling MPs at the time that South African data charges amounted, again, I think it was his words, daylight robbery. I think those were the words that you used. Yes. Before we talk about your response to the 2 years, sure, and I'm sensing just by the look on your face that you're not impressed, remind us why you led this crusade in the beginning.
It was clear that, you know, the monopoly is the result of why these costs can be challenged. And ICASA, which plays a role of regulating costs, I don't think they are clear of their responsibilities. So for me, when you compare the cost anywhere in the world, you ask yourself why till this day, South Africa has such unjustifiable high cost of data, when we are clear that digital migration requires people to live on their phones, to live on the data. It's as essential as water, shelter, and food.
Aren't you over-amplifying it slightly? I mean, isn't that more important than data?
No, not really. I've had numerous meetings with telecoms department. I've sat with ICASA, and look at the structure of ICASA. That's how it works. You go to parliament, you got councillors. Councillors are people in the communications committee who are supposed to review when there's an outcry on the high cost of data. What are they doing? Nothing. They take 2 years to make an announcement that, for me, should not even be an announcement. They didn't change on the cost of data. What needs to happen is the type of councillors that are appointed in parliament to review the cost. We need to check all those individuals, question their credibility, look into their history. I've met with probably 60% of those people who are supposed to represent the interest of the nation, and I can tell you right now, I find it quite useless. When you look at the former CEO, look at ICASA's former CEO, sexual harassment, chairperson facing fraud charges. So you ask yourself, when you appoint such people, do you vet them? How credible are they? Can you put them in response? Do they have the responsibility to even represent the best interest of the nation?
All right, so ICASA turning around today and saying that they are considering this, but they want, and I quote, more detailed market analysis of prices.
What more detail? This information is public. What more details do you need besides, you know, chowing taxpayers' money? You keep meeting and having meetings. 2 years. We haven't even made progress. And you're telling me that they want to consider. The word consider should be actually omitted. What needs to happen, we need to review all these councillors that are representing Parliament. They need to be clear that their responsibility, they failed us 2 years later to address, because they are not regulating. I don't think they're clear. Their primary mandate is to regulate.
So a couple of baby steps achieved today. So let's talk about those. First of all, it will now service providers will no longer be allowed to charge consumers out of bundle rates. That has ambushed so many people in the past. The second thing is that all service providers must now send notification when use of data hits 50%. So surely there is a little bit of light there. It is making things a little bit more, not necessarily manageable for consumers, but certainly they are now aware of the dangers of high cost of data, and they can act accordingly.
You see, Jeremy, let's not get caught in the rhetoric. Act accordingly, consider. I think they all know what the issue is.
Am I starting to sound like an ICASA councillor?
I think you're probably lodging for the job. I mean, possibly you might do a good job.
Most certainly not, yeah.
Here's the issue, right? You have people on the ground who are sending information to the relevant SOEs. Take, for instance, Infraco. I have looked at all the state-owned institutions. Their intervention, including ICASA, can bring this price of data low. The issue is that the type of people who are responsible at ICASA have relationships with the network. So how am I going to regulate you as a friend of mine and, you know, crack the whip and say you need to cut the prices down? So we need to investigate the relationship between the networks and ICASA.
Or a new model of regulation.
Hello. I think that's long overdue. Those people are useless.
So what, as a pioneer, as a crusader then, in this respect, what is your next move?
Let's review the councillors that sits in Parliament, check their credibility. Some people, you know, probably they're politically appointed and don't even understand their primary roles. I think they need to go through an orientation of what their responsibilities are. If you're a regulator, there's no need for a 2-year back and forth meeting flying to Cape Town to consider an issue that can be achieved over a conference call.
So I can mark you down as angry?
I'm not angry. I'm just a concerned citizen that pays his taxes and asks, why are these people still there? If you realize this institution is not representing the interest of the people, what are they still doing? Let's not fight the networks. ICASA is a regulator. If you have a referee in a game of soccer and is allowing the game to continue more than 90 minutes, you're not going to blame the players for keep on playing. So the regulator must blow the whistle and do their job.
Thibaut Touch, thank you very much indeed.
Good to see you.
Appreciate your time.